tiered storage. Work on it here because it's fast. When you finish, move it to here because it's cheaper, slower. Slower is normally cheaper, and so on, and eventually go to LTO. So our storage needs a tier. And there's more of it. Everything is digital. There's more of it. So it's growing at an exponential rate. So we've got to figure out ways. The reason for this symposium is basically try to figure out ways to do this automatically, to give us what we need. So these are the pain points of the customers if you talk to them. Most people spend an awful lot of time looking for stuff. We've all got laptops potentially. I was looking for this PowerPoint presentation. Well, I've got lots of PowerPoint presentations now, so I had a problem. So how do I find it? It's by giving it good names. Naming conventions are key in text-based searches to finding stuff. We all use computers, we all name it. Now, the only thing that really works, and the fundamentals of everything we do, is typically make a folder, give it a name, and tell people to put stuff inside it. Because that's how we use our laptops, right? Now, when you work on Sando, everybody in this room can be connected to the same storage. Now, if you don't know the name of the folder, and I put stuff in this folder, how do you find it? We all have problems, right? If we don't share a common knowledge across the whole group, how will we find stuff? And I've been agonizing over these problems for a long, long time. I've come up with some new ideas for it, but fundamentally the principles can't change. We have stuff, we put it in a hierarchical file system, we need to find it. Yeah? So we're not very good at it, mainly because we're not very organized, and no one likes being organized. If I showed you my desktop, it's a mess, right? My desktop's a mess, but normally the way I do it is the stuff I'm working on is on my desktop. And then I come to do something else, and I'll move it somewhere else. Yeah? So my focus is usually on the here and now, what I'm doing now. And the rest can look after itself. And that's typical of most people. Most people concentrate on what they're doing. But archive is the process of going back, bringing it back, and we want to use it. So finding stuff is quite crucial, and we're not very good at this at all. If we were more efficient, we'd be better. But the problem about being more efficient is we have to put more work in. And human beings are basically lazy, so no one wants really to put any work in. If we don't put in the work in, we can't find the stuff, and it's a vicious circle. So most of my work is trying to design workflows where we do as little as possible. Now, I got it wrong originally because I focused purely on medium, and I'll try and show you how I got there. So I was a drama cameraman back in the day. So my journey is Act 1. What did I think originally? Well, the drivers were, I came in to do collaborative workflows, meaning everybody in the room, let's all work on the same thing. And the first, we did some research in Bristol for ITV to see if any of this desktop editing stuff could actually work. We didn't know. This has gone back 12, 14 years, something like that. Could Final Cut be used to make TV programs? We didn't know. But the biggest and most significant development was SANS. Shared storage, whereby all of us could come together, share the assets, and make multiple shows. Now, this meant that we had to organize our lives differently. And that was my first problem with it. We had some very early SANS, and nobody knew anything. We hadn't written a book.
Excuse me.
So, if you try to analyze how groups work together, as I mentioned, everybody has to understand the type of material we're dealing with. They need to understand where is it going to go on the storage, what we're calling it. All very simple stuff. And if you have somebody who doesn't understand, it slows you down because you're collaborating. If someone can't do their job, it slows you down, and that leads to everything starts to go down the handcart. Back then, everything was predicated on tapes. Now, a tape, the way we used to ingest them, could be an hour, which is 1 hour video. That 1 hour would be one file, and we could give it one name. We would call it something like tape 0001, because we were very sophisticated. You know? It told me nothing about it. It didn't tell me what that shit was for. It told me it was tape 001. Well, every show we did had tape 001. So somehow we had to stop this. And this is where we are today. We get a little bit more complicated, but we cannot have things incorrectly labeled. So one tape would be 1 hour of material. Then we got clever with cameras, and we went clip-based. So 1 hour of material on a modern camera could be 100, 200 clips. Now we can't have clip 0001 cameras, but we do actually. Clip 002, and if you look at this camera probably here on the tripod, if you look at the files on it, it's probably MOV001. And every time you format the card, when this runs out, to put a new one in, it'll be MOV001 and tell me nothing about the subject matter. So we need to get that we need to attach metadata. One of the ways this camera isn't quite sophisticated enough, but it could do something, is time code. We used to time code on tape. We could have set time of day time code and have a date stamp. That would be good, meaningful metadata. If we knew the date of this symposium, we could search for it. But it still doesn't tell me the context of it. So we know that the answer is metadata. How we get it used is different. So this is the first job I got, which actually now I look back at it and thinking about doing it here. It actually encapsulated all the problems we have now and still have. But this was how I solved them then. I didn't realise it was a complex problem. It was just a job I got. Now the Volvo Ocean Race, you can go to the website, it's basically 8 carbon fibre boats that cost many millions of pounds, and they race around the world. Problem is, once they leave harbour, they're out of touch. We can't film them. So what we did was we put some guys on board the boats who filming all the time. And we put 8 cameras on all the boats, 8 boats, so we had 64 cameras. And we were recording all the time, and we were hoping to get this stuff back. So we bounced it off satellites every night and brought it down into Southampton. But we're recording on 8 cameras all the time, so because we don't want to miss it, we're generating more and more media. It's a mess. So we had a guy on board whose sole job was to find the good stuff and send me 10 minutes of material from each boat every night via satellite. Now this is going back 12, 14 years. So this was all in its infancy. So I was getting this material coming in every night in Southampton, and I puzzled. The main job, which I should have mentioned, was basically we had to produce an hour-long show every week. Volvo were giving it away. Every Thursday night, a satellite truck arrived, and we broadcast it to 32 countries. How could I get an hour's worth of material, program out every week? Well, I had to bring 5 different editors on board to do it, because it was very fast-paced. And this is one of the important things about media. We're very fast and we need to turn stuff out quickly. So I had my stand, and I had 5 people. The material coming in was very difficult, because I can tell you for a fact, if I do a picture of this young man here, and behind him is an ocean, I don't know whether this is the the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, a pond. I just don't know where this material is coming from. So, all this, and that was all the material. Now, how do we put together the story of the wrecks if we don't know when it's taken, how it's taken, where it is? So, I puzzled about this, and what I did, and I got lucky, is I actually employed a real librarian, a proper librarian, not an assistant editor who digitized tapes, because they want copies. But I got a real librarian who knew the value of tagging, of classifying our data, because this is really what we're doing with this stuff. We're classifying data against specific criteria. Now, I also got very lucky because she was a very scary, older lady who could keep the producers in check. Now, producers are these types of people who want to make their show, and they don't care about tagging it, they don't care about classifying it, they just need to make their show. But my lady librarian wouldn't let them have it until she had typed into something that we now call Captain Big, into my MAP system. And her job was to see the pictures, and she learned all the names of all the sailors. I think there were 10 sailors on every boat, the red boats, so she knew 80 faces, and she could type them in pretty quickly. But that meant we could find anything, because we could do a text-based search. And that allowed us to make our show much easier. So we had multiple people, and I broke the tasks down into you do part one, you do part two, this guy will do the grading, and you will do the audio. And we managed to get them out. And I'm on my 6th race now. I'm the only guy left out of the original first race. And they keep coming to me and saying, where's this stuff getting? I don't know, ask the man. I don't know where the stuff is. But they seem to think I do, so I get phone calls with from them. Yeah. So, problem is, where is it, what is it? So, CatDV was my first product, and it gave me the ability to search for sand in a way that we couldn't do before. It's a sort of a file system, but it's contextual. It's as good as the information you put into it. So it can do fancy stuff, and in this symposium, digital files can have metadata embedded in them. We talked about time code. We can talk about GPS information. Some of the new cameras in your phone has GPS information. It's how the Americans track us. This is how they find us. We look for our phones. Metadata in all the files. Now, if we can harvest that metadata ingest, we have some information. We know when it was shot. We know maybe where it was shot. Yeah. Now, CatDV is good at doing this, but I started to learn from. I thought this was the answer to most things, and it isn't. Because if you harvested metadata seems to offer us a way out of all of the problems we have, but it doesn't help us classify the data meaningfully. It doesn't tell us what show it's for. Yeah? If you know something, you can often utilize it, but it's not the answer. It's just something that we should have, and we can teach the systems to get. So, so that worked very well, and we got a lot of recognition for doing things that were quite difficult, and we made it work. It wasn't without its problems, because it was our first time out. But this other organisation, NASCAR, they were making, and I've got a little movie to show you, to give myself a bit of a rest, and I want you to see basically the principles of what we do in all these organisations, and they made a nice little film of it. They heard about me, and they invited me over to the States, and they were building a brand new facility. And if I play you this little video, they're massive. They are massive. They create 178, back in the day, 178 hours of new material every weekend. Then we made it even worse because we now put 4 cameras in every car. So we now have in every car 4 cameras, and we have to track all the media from inside the cars as well. And we are tying it together in time code and various things, but it's still a problem. And you see how we approached it, because we had a greenfield site for this. They were moving facilities.